Inside, I still feel 18. I may not look it on the outside, but I still feel it on the inside.
A lot of my friends think that I haven't grown up, but I'm still in high school. I live for the Beach Boys and that kind of stuff.
In retrospect, I think we all tend to think of those times as somewhat euphoric because we are young. Everything is in front of us. We don't have too much behind us yet to reflect on.
I don't know, I think we had a real sense of unity and cohesiveness in the high school that we don't have now. In fact, we were just commenting about that a little bit a few moments ago. I think we really felt a unity as members of the class and felt sort of a brotherhood, sisterhood that my impression is a lot of the kids don't feel now.
They were a serious class and they had fun. They were a great athletic class. I remember Scott Robbins throwing great passes and winning touchdowns and football fever in the fall, and just a spirited, fun group of people. I mean, they really were fun to be around.
Our senior season, winning the first state football championship, was the first championship of any kind that Skyline had won, and it was just kind of a magical, season for us. I remember at the start of two-a-days, we had set up in the locker room a haircut station, and Ron and I were charged with giving everyone a butch haircut. We had the shears, and everyone took their turn, came in and sat down and got their hair shaved. It was sort of a thing that we did on the football team to kind of unify everybody, and everyone had short haircuts, and so that kind of started the whole season that way. And we had basically kind of made a commitment the year before our junior season, after our loss to Ogden High School in the quarterfinals, that next year would be dedicated to not letting it slip away.
Now what's the matter, buddy? Ain't you heard of my school? It's number 1 in the state. So be true to your school now, just like you would to your girl or guys. Be true to your school now, don't let your colors fly.
Remember painting the S out here on the street, about the same time Olympus tried to do it, putting the S up on the mountain that year. It was really a great time to be in high school for me.
Why must every generation think their folks are square? And no matter where their heads are, they know moms ain't there.
And our dresses had to be down to the knee. Sometimes the administration would have you kneel down and make sure that those hemlines were down to the floor.
I remember graduation, and that wasn't one of my fondest memories because the girl I'd been dating dumped me just prior to graduation. So I know how that goes. So I was scrambling to find a date.
In the closer, it's easy to trace the tracks of my tears.
Remember hallways, you're waiting always to see behind the door.
I remember lots of people, very, very crowded halls. It seemed like every time you walked out of a room, there were just people everywhere. You could never get to your locker. It was fun.
lot of fond memories for Dr. Ripplinger, concert choir. I remember how when girls in choir would sit and comb their hair. It was back when ironing your hair had long straight hair, and they would comb their hair, and he would just look at them and he'd say, you know, if I thought it would make any difference in the way you looked, if I thought it would make you look any better, I would go ahead and let you do it. But it just is not going to make one bit of difference. He was a real master of put down.
I used to go see Mr. Green for things like flat tires, and I was late to school in the morning when probably we were really down at JB's drinking coffee or hot chocolate.
I took a ski trip to Jackson with that class, and one of the guys who's now a prominent downtown attorney streaked, mind you, the entire motel complex, and that was fine, except it was 14 below.
You say yes, I say no. You say stop, and I say go, go, go. Oh no, you say goodbye, and I say hello.
The Beatles were really the thing to listen to. So were the Rolling Stones, you know, Animals, Herman's Hermits, those kind of groups that you don't hear much about today.
I don't know why you say goodbye, I say hello.
Well, see, that's the music I still listen to. We went the other night to this Sky concert at the University of Utah, and Richard Marx was playing, and I'd never heard of him. I mean, the music I know is the music that was played in the 60s, and I associate a lot of that with high school.
I have students that are now the age that I was when I graduated from high school, and I'll mention something to them, like I'll say, well, you know this Beatles tune, and they'll look at me like, well, we've heard of the Beatles, but they look at me like I'm talking about Glenn Miller. And so it's, you know, you wake up and suddenly you're 20 years older.